That's right, folks. What is it? It's the Ruger Mini 30 and 10 round factory Ruger mags. Now mine runs flawlessly with 10 round Ruger mags. I've heard otherwise that some of these don't like them. Group wise, we're getting close to deer season, and as I do my continual quest for making sure I'm ready to go, I mean, we're going to clear this gun, but here we go. I'm using, let's see, these were Full Metal jackets, and then I was using as well in here the Cool Surplus, and I'll have to get some because I just did a group and I was a little high and a little sporadic, but check this out. Some of you will remember this. I know it's hard to see, so let me flip this around for you. There you go. Centerfire made to hunting spec 7.62 by 39 hollow point LCB, Russian made 20 pieces. What's cool is, unfortunately, you can't get much of this anymore, but check that out. Hollow point, great deer and hog round. And then this is the Hogue aftermarket stock. Rear sight was removed. I have a SIG Buckmaster 3 through 9x40 on it, which is illuminated reticle. Comes with the flip up caps, and for the dollar value, I figured I'd give it a go and see how it withstands to the abuse of a Mini 30. We have an AccuStrut system from AccuStrut. I figured I'd go with the originals rather than the other company. And then this is the Chill 8 handguard vented on top. Let's see how stable we are. So the left target here, and I'll go down there, has a really nice group in the middle of a 5-shot group at 50 yards. The right side, oh yeah, but max zoom in here, but it's a little all over, so I'm guessing that's at least a 5 or 6 inch spread at 100, and that is off this bag, the Caldwell bag, prone, and then this one while laying down. So I'm going to take and do 5 more rounds of this. I'm going to pause you guys and then run down there and see how we made out. And she locks back. So, Mini 30, 10 round mags. Oh, my back has gone out the last couple of days. Been brutal. But in terms of hunting guns that are fun, that are not black powder, but more modern. So if somebody wanted to get into something that's relatively low recoil and fun, but still want to take and use for deer, the Mini 30 is awesome. It's a 585 series. It does not have any of the issues as some of the previous, at least with mine. I've thrown that in the walnut stock. It came with a black synthetic stock, which absolutely just kind of uncomfortable. And I really like the Hogues because from a hunting standpoint, especially with that gun, I got it in stainless. The reason being is that in a freezing cold, it's really sticky, and then again you can handle the weather. Now, shooting off the bag, I had a really good group, and then this last one, I think I threw because the target was swinging really hard. It's awesome. But 50 yards, I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to adjust my windage today just yet. So I'll show you this group here. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4. And this was rocking after hit. That's what it was doing. So I just kept aiming here, and my, obviously it was, you know, spinning as I was going. So I was trying to hit it as it was coming back to me, which would explain these. And then this last one, when it was really hard, this last one here, it hit, and I hit here because I aimed right here. So that's probably a little bit of me screwing around or not. But here's what's weird. At 104 yards prone off that bag, my first shot, second shot, third shot, and then it was fourth shot, fifth shot. So that's that same hunting ammo at 104. And if I lay my hand next to that, you know, it's from the pretty much my finger to the heel long. So that's probably, you know, what, 5.5, 6 inch group, probably 6 inches there, at least prone. So consistency wise, maybe do better with some hand loads, but that was the exact same ones I was using here, but at 50. And again, I was aiming right about here, so I'm favoring slightly right. I may come over 1 or 2 clicks. We'll see. And the reason I say may is because this was 5 rounds, and then I went over here. And at 50, I was aiming right here. And I got these two with the hunting, with the Russian ammo. And then I switched over, and I didn't realize I was shooting full metal jacket. And that's the Russian bear. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all in there. 5 shot. Again, length of a pinky wide, and it was hitting dead nuts where I wanted to be after I came down 2 clicks on my scope. So, I'm, you know, slightly to the right with the hunting, dead nuts with a full metal jacket. So for 50, I think we're good to go. But it is very interesting. And again, I did come down 2 clicks, so these highs should be probably down here now with a high of somewhere here, aiming right at this edge. This was actually my aim point, right there. Mini 30s. Some people hate them, some people love them. You know, from a kid on, that's what I always wanted. Was a Ruger Mini 14. Now I've got a plethora of Mini 14s from the 181 series. I don't have the original 180 series, but I have a 181, a 182, a 185, and 186. I know I have a 181, 182, maybe it's a 183, 104, and then I jump up to the 585 series in stainless mini ranch rifle. And those pencil barrels are phenomenally accurate for me. And when I say phenomenally accurate, I mean I could do a 10-shot group fist size. It's not amazing, but at 50 yards iron sights for a shooting coyote, fox, it is great. Put a scope on them, and they are nice. Now, the Mini 30, as we're looking, is truly set up for hunting. This one, I threw a scope on it. I don't know, I may take the scope off and use it. But there's that Accurate Systems full-size strut. Now, is it necessary? No. Does it tighten up groups? A little bit. It does. One thing you gotta be careful. You see, there's a little bit of looseness. So I gotta go through, and you do have to check these and then Loctite these back down. So you need to check these consistently, because if these get loose, then they throw your accuracy again. So that's why I say I'm not gonna move anything yet, but you know, there it is. Mini 30. The Ruger Buckmaster. Nothing fancy in the scope, but it does have illumination, which is nice. Vented handguard I went with just because it looks cool. I've got a couple of the original cheese graters as well, the actual metal, really rare ones. Anyway, Mini 30s are one of those things that some people love them, some hate them, some like to shit on them, but you know, expecting them for what they are, a gas blowback system, you know, basically a piston system, if you will, because it pushes back the op rod. Using terms loosely here, folks. From hunting, though, it is an American-made rifle. Put the Hogue stock on, I think it was 89 or 99 bucks. It is super grippy. You know, I put 20 bucks, I think, on top for the hand guard. I do have walnut stocks, but I think in the wintertime, in the snow and everything that we're exposed to here, it just makes sense because you can grip on these. Really nice. And then the Ruger rear sight works really well, but tech sights are a must if you're shooting iron sights off of a mini of any kind. They really do make a difference. And then these barrels do tend to heat up relatively quick, but you know, there's 20 rounds, I think. 5, 10, 15, 17 or 18 rounds. Didn't quite have a full 10 round mag of the other one, but they do run. A lot of people said that these 10 rounders don't work. I actually prefer the 5 rounders when you're hunting anyway, because they're flush mounts. These 10 rounders don't stick out too far, so they are nice. Anything bigger than a mini 30 to me just kind of defeats the purpose when it comes from hunting standpoint, unless you're on wild hogs and you're putting lots of rounds downrange. Then obviously go for even higher standard capacity magazines. But yes, mini 30s, I love them. Problem is they're right around $1,000, and for $1,000 you can get a lot of any other gun, which will give you better accuracy throughout there. So is it, in terms of a fun starter gun, ranch gun, woods gun, gun for a youth, I think would be really good. And if you go with one of the tactical models, get a threaded barrel on there, you can put a muzzle brake and really tame any felt recoil. There's not much recoil to these anyway. They're a little bouncy just because of the operation of how the gun works. But yeah, I do enjoy it. And so at 50 yards, we are dead nuts on to where I need to be for deer hunting. We'll see. Maybe this year I'll take it out and use it for one of my rifles. 100 yards, though, you know, leaves something to be improved. I do have some factory Hornady SST that I might come out and try. The problem is at the expense of those boxes. And I don't load, surprisingly, for 7.6239 just because it's never been worthwhile to me. However, here we are. And if I want to try to get some match grade ammo, you know, shooting, reloading might be a way to go. However, I'm quite happy with this surplus Russian hunting ammo, which can no longer find readily available, but it is non-corrosive. And just trying to remember, I think they're 127 grain. Either way, it's a nice big bullet, and it's doing its trick in deer or soft skin animal. Anyway, there you go, mini 30s. Fun, awesome little gun. And you know, for the $1,000, I think I got mine for $9.99. Then there was an in-store special for maybe $8.99, or it was $10.99 instead of $11.99 down to $10.99. Then I got $100 off, so it was $9.99 anyway out the door. A little bit of tax, and you're back up there. So they're not cheap by any means, and you can do a lot better with a bolt rifle in terms of accuracy. But if you want to combine some fun with a semi-auto platform, shooting a relatively easy to find ammo that's used to be really cheap to shoot, there it is. Anyway, thanks for watching. Possibly suggest it for hunting, but it wouldn't be my primary go-to if you didn't, if you were looking for your first rifle, unless you really want semi-auto and you know your distances are going to be 100 yards or under.